Good evening and welcome to another episode of The Unstoppable Overcomers. And I'm your host, Dorothy Odell, for this evening. I am super excited to share with you one of our amazing sponsors. Did you know that doTERRA essential oils can help support the body physically, mentally, and emotionally to help you achieve optimal health? Aromatherapy is a very powerful tool. And for more information, contact our Be Oily with Bonnie Herb, who is the queen of doTERRA oils and has helped my family tremendously getting the correct oils that we need. So go to www.beoilywithbonnie.com or give her a call or a text at 810-414-0929. Now, okay, I'm super excited. We've never, ever had anybody on the show with this background before. So I'm excited. I don't know about y'all, but please welcome Yael to the show. I hope I said your name correctly.
Yeah, as I said, whatever comes. Yael is how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Yael. Okay. I'm going to rate it a different way because then it's like Yale machines. Huh. Yeah. There we go. I love that. Welcome to the show. We are so super excited to have you here. And, tell us a little bit about your background, who you are, and a little bit about your overcoming story, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, so my name is Yael. The name is Israeli. But I live in the United States. I moved here with my husband, who is American, and our 6-year-old son. I had, a long story. I started as CPA. I was a CPA for many years. I worked in the financial industry. I worked in tech. I was an information system manager for many years. And I really loved it. I was really good at it. I got really amazing job offers. But still, I felt something was missing in my life. I can also say that, what led me to do that was the need for financial security. My mom passed away when I was 18 years old. And I had two younger brothers. At first, I really took care of them, but then we moved in. My dad had another wife that she's now his wife. She's my stepmother. My mom knew about it, so it was but it was a very harsh and shift for us to move from I have this life and this family and this mother and suddenly I have this life and this mother, and it was from very quick transition. So at first I disconnected from my family. I couldn't deal with that. It was just too much. And I must say that today my stepmother is very dear to me. I really love her. I'm in good relationship with her, but it was a long road till I made peace with my family. So for a long time I was more or less orphaned, and I really needed financial security. So there was no question about what's my purpose and what do I want to do in life and what really fascinates me, because I was fascinated by astrology since I was a child, and I had so many other interests in life, but I had to study something that was concrete, and being a CPA is a very good foundation. And I think I'm very happy that I studied it, because it gave me a very solid ground and allowed me to do many things. Like the first time I came to the US, I could find a job, because it was something that, people always need. Mm-hmm. Someone who do their money. So it was very easy to have this foundation. But throughout the time, I felt it was not fulfilling. It was not where my heart was. I felt, I would go to talk with people, in social meetings, and and I was embarrassed to say what I was doing. Like everyone seemed so like, interesting and fascinating to me. And it wasn't, like, I don't think that being an information system manager is a bad thing or that it's not fulfilling, but it wasn't for me.
Right.
So I really think that, there is room for everyone to do. And some people, like my husband, for example, he's so happy working in tech. He's really content. He finds himself there.
Right.
Some people really love it, but my brother the same. He's very successful manager. Like for some people it works, but it didn't work for me.
Right.
And for years, with dealing with my mom's death and dealing with all the challenges, I was looking for answers. I was looking for answers in Buddhism, in yoga, in meditation practice, in occultism. Was really trying to find answers about like what's the meaning of life? Why all this suffering? Why do we have to go through so much hardship?
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, at a certain point, I decided to leave the tech industry and my financial position, and to just give a try to something else. My dream was to write a book,
Mm-hmm.
which, like, fast forward 15 years, I'm doing now. But
Right.
I started doing it then. I was not ready yet for it. I was like trying. I didn't know what I was doing. It was very like I was not um I didn't have the dialogue with an audience yet. I didn't know, like if my voice was meaningful, and probably it wasn't. I was still I perceive it as very young, to say something very meaningful like I wanted to.
Right.
I still had to go through a long way. It's not that, some people at 35, they're really mature to write books, but I was still not there. I still had to go a long way. So I was drawn. I started doing a yoga teacher training. I became a yoga teacher, and I started. I co-owned a yoga studio for a while, and I suddenly, like, something happened. I was ecstatic because suddenly I stepped into something that was closer to my fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was channeling something. I felt connected with the people around me. It was really powerful and strong. And I was able, in the studio, I was able to create a community. It was really beautiful. Like, the studio was a home for many people. Um, and then throughout, I was traveling. I met my teacher, Mati Ezrati. She passed away 3 years ago, but she was very well known. She's the one who established Yoga Works, one of the biggest yoga chains in the US today. She is the teacher of many famous teachers like Shiva Ray and Sean Korn. Like, many big names in the yoga world came through her. She was
Right.
their teacher, and I was assisting her. I worked with many people I assisted her in Goa, in India, in Los Angeles, in New York. So I met lots of people on the spiritual path, lots of people who were practicing yoga and looking for ways to make the world a better place. And it was really fulfilling. But there was still, like, it still didn't feel like I was in the right place. Like,
Right.
it was almost there, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Then I met my teacher. I met Debra Silverman. She's a famous astrologer. She's the astrologer of Sting. She worked with many other famous people. She has one of the biggest astrology schools in the world. Like, she teaches thousands of people all over the world, and I met her for an in-person reading. It was very unique. Not many people get that, but I was in Boulder and I had a mutual friend, and he said, like, hey, why won't you meet? And I was just 40. It was almost 10. I'm going to be 50 June 17. So really, really
Two
soon.
days before my brother.
Wow. Yeah. So how old is he going to be?
He 45.
45. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to celebrate 50. And it was just 10 years ago. I met Debra. So
Oh,
it was like
nice.
really like this decade was super powerful. So like I always say my life started at 40. Like really.
Right. Exactly. That I say that too. And I don't mean to cut in, but you've said so much amazing stuff here. And you know what really attracted me, because you said you went from CPA to astrology. And there is a lot of us in different careers that we do it for the, because it pays for our families' needs, right? Until we can get what our passion to where our needs need to be met. And so when you said you had a CPA background, I was just like, wow, because I'm in finance. I've been in finance for over 26 years or longer. And I'm like, wow, I love the fact that you went for it. A lot of people don't even and try to even get out of that, or even try something different. So I have to be honest, that's what stuck out. But then, the more I got into what you said about astrology and things like that, I was just like, this lady, we got to have her here. And, I just love that you went for your passion and just really, yoga, you said yoga was a little bit better, but yet it still didn't feel like the right thing. And I
Yeah.
love that you kept going after, and seeking what really was good for you. So,
Yeah, so I want to say two things about it. First of all, like I didn't go after my passion. I didn't know exactly what my passion was. I think like many times we need some space. I think this is why lots of women find their passion after they are stay-at-home mom for a period of time.
right.
And then they don't deal with like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What is my career? And suddenly like something falls into their lap. And this is what happened to me. Like even though I saw Debra 10 years ago, I didn't become an astrologer right away. I was flirting with the idea, but I was very devoted so after I met Debra, I met my husband. Okay.
Ah,
And right after I met her, and she told me in the session, she was like, I was like, what about relationship? Because I really wanted to have a family. And I was already 40 and I was like, will I have children? She's like, I don't know, you're already 40, you might not. But, and I was like, will I have love? And she said, you're already in a relationship. And that was so funny because I already met my husband, but I didn't know that he would be my husband.
love it.
So I met my husband and we fell in love and we immediately like, we got pregnant by mistake, but it was like, wow, it was the first time I got pregnant. And then we got into like a cycle of really working hard because the first pregnancy just, we lost it. So then it was like a long process. And then I stayed at home with my son. And only after when I stayed at home with my son and he was like a year and a half, I was like, okay, I need to think, what am I going to do? And then astrology just it just and I worked on it. Like there were few options, I weighed the options, I wrote them down. So it's not like like many people, they seek like oh, but I don't know what I want to do. Okay, sometimes we need space, we need a space. So it's not just like like go for your passion and and just and also like we have to be responsible. Like I told you that I got a little inheritance. My grandpa died and left us some inheritance, so I had some money that could keep me going. And I also had like all these pension funds and study funds that I had from the days that I worked in the tech industry, and so that was a lot. So I'm not. I don't want to encourage people or to make people feel like oh, because I'm working just for money, that's bad, and like there is something wrong and I need to pursue my passion, and if I don't pursue my passion, something is wrong with me. Being responsible is the most important thing. I
Absolutely.
think sometimes that some people, they pursue their passion on the expense of their families, of their of their stability. And I don't think it's necessarily the right thing to do. I think we really need to be responsible, as well as passionate and
Hmm.
find like the right balance between like how do and look at you. So you work in finance and maybe this is not your biggest passion, but you do this podcast.
Hmm. Yep.
So you found a way to combine, and bring your passion. It's there is a beautiful quote that says, like it talks about people being tired, and it's not about like you're not tired because you do too much, it's because you don't do enough of what you love doing.
That's the second time I heard that today.
Wow.
That is the second time I've heard that today. Yes.
Right, so sometimes so my husband is a musician. Okay, so he loves making music, but he knows he's not going to provide for his family by making music. So he could be, like, hey, I'm going with my passion and go to be a musician. But then we would, like, what would we do? We wouldn't, I'm an astrologer, I'm following my passion. He's, like, and then so maybe when when my business is built enough that I can provide for the family, he can step out and become. So we have to be responsible for each other. I couldn't do
Exactly.
it because I nursed my son till he was 3 years old. I stayed with him for 2.5 years. So there was a price to it. I went through 3 years of fertility. So I put a lot into building our family. So now I feel like I earned it. I earned doing what I want to do, and I earned it that he will be the provider. He's been, and he loves it, so it's like it works well for us. But I think, like, so it's not just, I don't want to be this person who says like, oh, jump into your fulfillment.
Yes. Yeah, we totally get that. Yeah. And no, I agree. We have to be responsible. Bills still need to get paid. And I would never want to put the expense of my family, like you said, towards that. But I believe we could pursue our passions while we're doing what we have to do, and until that passion gets to a place where, it explodes and could potentially pay for the family, right? And some people, what I'm alluding to with that was like, some people won't even do that. Some people just get stuck in a rut and just, nope, this is what I'm doing till the day I die. But
Yeah.
that's, anyways, I just love that you followed your passions, and you're doing astrology and helping people in a different way. I just love that you're doing that.
Yeah, and the second thing you pointed out, like the fact that yoga, like sometimes when we do a career shift, then we expect, oh, so I made this shift, and now I need to be in the right place.
Right.
We force it, but maybe it's not the right place because we're just trying. So it's admitting our, like, it's not even a mistake, it's part of my path.
That's right. Yeah.
Everything I've done is part of my path, and moving to a new thing, like some people will tell me, well, you're not stable. No, I'm evolving.
Exactly. And for those people who think that, um you're the same person that you were the day before, people evolve. Some people stay stuck, and they don't, but people like you and I, we evolve all the time. And so, like, if you're not evolving, then you're staying stuck, in my opinion.
Exactly. Exactly. But even the people who get stuck, did you know that 98% of our atoms are changed every year? Every year, 98% of our physical atoms in the body are
Hmm.
changed, are replaced every year. So we
I
are
love that.
not the same person that we were, like, even if we, and this is like the concept, one of the concepts that I talk about in my book. It is, the main concept of Buddhism is that there is no I. When they say there is no I, or there is no self, or there is no ego, it doesn't mean that we don't exist. It means that we don't exist as one fixed, independent entity.
Right.
We are constantly changing. You're not the same as you were yesterday. Some things happened to you since you gained wisdom. You're not the same person, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I love that you reiterated that, because I know some people that I said something 10 years ago and they hold it against me. I'm like, that was 10 freaking years ago. I'm not the same person. I'm not even the same person I was yesterday, let alone today. So even if you want to hold something I said against me yesterday, that's fine. Whatever. I'm not even that same person. So I totally love that you said that, because not everybody sees that or identifies with that, or so I love that you did say that. Perfect. Thank you so much. So now, what is your favorite part of astronomy?
Astrology.
Astrology,
Um,
sorry.
yeah, so helping people. That's what I love to do. I love, like through astrology is so beautiful because people come and they're seen. Okay, so I can see who you are. It's like we had this little discussion before
Yeah.
about you being emotional. And you didn't have to tell me anything. I would come and I would tell you, listen, you came here to be emotional. And you're like, oh, and you felt so understood. It's like all the people in my family, all the people around me say, you're too emotional, you shouldn't be so emotional. But I'm here to be emotional, and it gives you this relief of like, I can be who I am, and
Mhm.
this is my gift. So this is a gift that I can give people, that they the permission to
Mhm.
be themselves. And this is huge, because the best thing that we can do in this lifetime is be ourselves. As my teacher says, everyone else is taken.
True enough, everybody else is taken.
Everyone else is taken. So each one of us came here with a certain chart, with
Mhm.
a certain personality, with a certain gift, a certain challenge, or few gifts, few challenges that we need to work through in order to embody something that only us can do. Only
Exactly.
you can be you. Only you can give. You have a very specific gift to give to this world that only you can give. And your whole life story, your childhood, your challenges. Some people go through harassment, some people go through like horrible stories,
Mhm.
and it's horrible. I'm not saying that it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, it is horrible, but there is a purpose for
Mhm.
everything that we go through.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I have said that, like, I've been through some pretty crappy stuff, and in the middle of it, I have said, okay, we're going through this for a reason. Watching my dad die, we said that, there has to be a reason why we're going through this. And you know, my family didn't believe 100% of that. Oh, I don't know what that purpose is, but I wish I knew. But the thing of it is, I'm like, we're here to help other people. We have empathy knowing what we know going through this situation for somebody else. And to me, that's the whole point of why we go through things, so that we could better help other people.
Exactly. Exactly. This is our service to others is always in the wound.
Hmm.
Where we were wounded, we're going to give to others. We're going to teach others something, or we're going to change the world in a certain way that will help to improve the situation for other people.
Yes. In the back here, my Kimberly saying we go through crap to learn a lesson. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to give a shout out to Inger as well. Inger is joining us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think everybody would agree that they've all gone through something. And if they haven't, then you must be living under a rock. Um, in my opinion, just my opinion. But right, I love that you said that.
Yeah, we all have challenges. Even the most successful, accomplished people, that we look up to and say, like, oh, I wish I was like that. We all have our challenges, and everyone has to deal with things in a different way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and the thing of it is, I always, since we started this show two years ago, I said, yeah, I wanted to be the next Oprah. And it's funny because I'm reminded me the only difference between Oprah and myself in this moment is she's gone through more crap than I have to get to the other side. And I'm telling you, this past year we've been dealing with with the crap, and so that, you know, hold on, people, because the next year is going to be 10 times better than the 2 years that we had prior. And watch out, because there's a lot of great things coming down the pipeline. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we all go through something. It's just, you know, and I think some of us too in that moment want to hold on to the situation instead of letting go and releasing, right? And that's where, you know, the shift between where you're at and where you want to be is just allowing and letting go.
Yeah, but
So,
also like it's important to allow and let go, but also not to bypass. So we have to go, the only way out is the way through.
true.
Okay. So we
Yeah.
have to, we really have to work through our pain. Like we can't say, you know, some people in the spiritual world, you know, they think like, oh, I take everything in equanimity. I take everything with peacefulness and understanding. And, you know, and there is, we all do, like, you know, if someone hurt us, you know, even, you know, the issues we have with our parents, okay, we can see our parents and we can say, you know, like, oh, I really understand, you know, I really understand my mother. You
Hmm.
know, my mother told me a few times in her life that I was replaced in the hospital, that I was not her daughter. And this, like, you're laughing, but you know, it took me years to understand how impactful it was.
Hmm.
I lived, you know, the person, my mom, who was supposed to love me the most, told me basically that she didn't love me, that she didn't accept me, you know, and that was so powerful. And it took me years to shake it off me and to really like to remember this, because
Hmm.
of course I completely suppressed it, to remember this,
Right.
to bring it up to the surface, to deal with it and to shake it away from me and understand, you know, it, this is who she was. She couldn't, you know, she could not relate to who I was
Right.
because I was very powerful and she was not. It was hard for her.
Right.
So to really see that and get out of it.
I
So
thought you meant she was joking when she said that. I didn't realize that that
yeah,
was an
yeah,
actual
no,
thing, because
it
I couldn't imagine a mother saying that to a child. So my
yeah,
apologies.
no, she really, you know, it was like a funny way to say something, but you know, it's like,
Right.
yeah,
That
that's what
is
it
harsh.
meant. Yeah, it was like your switch, like I was so, like, you know, royal in my behavior. Like she thought like, you know, you didn't come from my family, you're not, you do not, don't belong to our lineage. And yeah, I was like a princess since I was a little girl, but that's who I was. And it was hard for her. She always, like, she really appreciated modesty, and many people have that with their parents. And you know, even like I always love to ask about childhood when I do charts. And oftentimes, like I would ask, and people say, "Oh, my childhood was perfect. My family was perfect." And then just when we and I was like, there is an indication that there was some restriction or there was, and then they start thinking about it. Oh, yes, you know, like actually, you know, one told me, I started having like panic attacks, and I took myself to the doctor when I was 10 years old. And I'm like, seriously? Like you took yourself to the doctor when you were 10 years old? Like, you know, it can't be that, you know, your parents were supporting you. Well, you know, if you had to do it on your own and you were afraid to share it with your parents. So, you know, there's so many layers that we can, and the thing is not to blame anyone. It's
Mhm.
just to, like, you know, there is pain, and to acknowledge the pain around it.
Mhm.
And only when I was able to go through the pain and say, you know what, I don't blame my mother, but it was painful. It was
Mhm.
so painful that I couldn't deal with it for like 40 years.
Right.
And only when I was 40 I could even, you know, talk about it. So acknowledge the pain, go through the pain, experience the pain, and only then we can release it. Because if I would just say, oh, my mom was, you know, that's how she was and that's nothing, and my childhood was great, and you know, no one abused me, so
Mhm.
you know, no one hit me, no one raped me, so I had a perfect childhood and that's fine, you know, like I could say that many people do, like,
Right.
I lost my mother, but it was her soul. She chose to go, no, it was painful. I was 18 years old and I stayed alone in the world. It was painful,
Right.
so just acknowledging the pain and going through the process. And I had to go through a serious depression
Hmm.
when it happened.
I can imagine that would be extremely painful, and, being there without a mother, without any guidance, because your mom's supposed to be the one to guide you, right?
Mhm.
I can imagine that would be extremely painful for sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that at age 18. It was hard enough at age 44 for losing my dad. Yeah, I can't imagine at 18 what that would be like. We're just going to take one commercial break here, so just one moment. Ladies and gentlemen, are you tired of feeling stuck in your career or your business? Are you ready to unlock your full potential and accomplish your goals with compounding growth so that you can live your life like it's a walk on the beach? Then listen up, because I have some exciting news for you. Today's podcast is sponsored by the Left Foot Coach, an innovative entrepreneurial venture cap partner that will take your income and self-expression to the next level. With his established 5-pillar methodology, the Left Foot Coach can help you build a solid foundation for success and expand your full potential. As a growth As a venture growth coach, the Left Foot Coach is dedicated to partnering with you in your established business to help you grow your income and achieve your goals. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a professional looking to take your career to the next level, the Left Foot Coach can provide you with support, guidance, and resources you need to succeed. If you're ready to unlock your full potential and achieve your dreams, then schedule a free 30-minute call inquiring. Free 30-minute inquiry call using this link here. I'm going to put it in the chat here, and it is, for those of you listening on audio, it is calendly.com/XIAN left LEFT /30-minute month equals 2023-05. There it is up on the screen. So, and yes, I mean, Christian is one of our amazing leaders here in our community and has helped us tremendously with our growth, not only on the show, but some things that we're working with behind the scenes. So definitely you won't regret it. Book your 30-minute consultation today. With that, we'll bring back Yael. And thank you so much. I just love all that you said. And I think we have that spark because we can identify with some of which each other said. Losing somebody at any age is hard, but especially at age 18. So kudos for you for figuring your way through everything, even though it couldn't have been easy. And so what would you say your best piece of advice would be if somebody who has lost a parent at such a young age?
Go through the pain. Go through the pain. Just, like it took me 10 years. It took me 10 years until I didn't cry when it happened. I was very strong, So it's like I catch people in these places where they're trying to be strong and hold themselves. It's not just, losing someone, it can be a heartbreak. It can be anything, that was very traumatic in someone's life.
Right.
And sometimes, at the end of the session, people tell me, you showed me that, there is, my purpose is to show people where, their gift, but also where are areas that they still need to work with. And sometimes they would tell me, like I didn't even know, but there is still pain there and I need to work through it. That it's not resolved yet. And some things will never be resolved, but it's like it's the ability. You see, I'm speaking a bit about it right now. I'm not detached from it. You can feel my pain, but I'm not crying. Like I'm not like, falling apart. I can talk about it, and and you see that I worked through that.
Right.
I did my work. So you see the difference. And you see some people, when you start talking about things, you see that the pain is still there. It's still alive in them. It's still activating them.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Allow it, heal from it. And, a a lot of us bury it. And you said you buried yours for 10 years. And I totally get that. Sometimes it's easier to just bury it instead of dealing with it. But by burying it, you're not doing yourself any good, because it's going to come out in other ways. Triggers galore. It's going to come up. And healed people or hurt people. And the new hashtag of this last couple of weeks that we made was healed is sexy. Hashtag healed is sexy. So yeah. So for those of you that are out there listening, it's okay, to not be okay, but definitely to move through that pain. And I always say quicker the better. Like, rip the band-aid off and deal with that. But and sometimes people don't want to, and that's fine too. I mean, it depends on the person. So yeah, I love that you said that. So getting to, you said you went into astrology to help people. And so what all, okay, so forgive me because I don't know anything about astrology. And so that was a part of a draw for having you on here too. So what is it that you do then with astrology, and how you help people with that?
Do you want to bring up your chart and then we'll just,
Sure, I can do
talk about
that.
it in a live way?
In a live way. Awesome. Yes. Okay. So, yes. No idea what any of this means, but here it is. I know. There we go.
Okay, so the first thing I'd like to point out is that your sun is in Cancer. You see this like round circle with a little circle inside of it. This is the sun. It is in the sign. In your case, it's the higher point of the chart. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yep.
we see this like two lying down 9 figures.
Mm-hmm.
This is Cancer. Okay, and we
Yep.
see a lot of activity there. So what's happening in your chart? Your Mercury, the way you think, the way you communicate, is in Cancer. Mine is too. Your Sun is in Cancer. Your Venus is in Cancer. So when someone has 3 planets in the same sign, this sign is super super strong in your chart.
Okay.
Okay, also your midheaven, so the highest point of the chart is our midheaven. This is our career purpose. Okay, so what does it all mean when you have like, and you have the moon? You see the shape of the moon is
Yeah.
in the first, it's in the slice. You see the chart is sliced through
Mm-hmm.
like, pieces of cakes, and this is in the first slice. So
Right.
your moon is also in the first house. Whenever you have something in the first house, you also have Uranus there. It is very strong in your chart. So moon energy is very strong in your chart. What does it mean? It means that in your career and in general, you came here to teach people how to deal with their emotions.
Okay, so that the reason why I'm laughing is because I just wrote a song that because I help the veterans, and in that space I wrote a song called Healed the Brokenhearted. And it was a song about my past and about my dad, like watching my dad die, and things like that, and everything that I do. So that is hilarious that you said that. That's why I was laughing.
Yeah, and so we see this vertical line and we see Cancer on top and Capricorn is in the bottom. The lowest point in the chart is your childhood. When
Mm-hmm.
your childhood is in Capricorn, it usually means that you are an overcomer. You had to overcome challenges. Okay, the childhood was not easy usually for people with there were some restrictions. This person that I told you about with the that had to take herself to the doctor when she was 10, she had the same position. It's childhood in Capricorn. It means that there was some harshness. There was some like, other like, your parents expected from you things that like you always felt like you needed to be very responsible. You had to be responsible from a very young age, or like everything was very strict. There
Mm-hmm.
was some limitation, usually like not feeling, there is no feeling of nourishment. And then you come to the world and you want to nourish.
Mhm.
So it's like, first of all, people with this position, you feel the, because your home didn't feel like a safe space, the outer world and the home were alike. So you feel like everyone is your family,
Mhm.
right? Like when you talk with people, like they're your siblings, they're your, you know, like it's, so it's beautiful. Okay. And it takes you to this place where you can really teach us about how to be human. Cancer is all about the human condition, and it's about the pain of the human condition. So this is why you're doing this show. You're bringing people who had to endure pain and had to overcome pain, and you're trying to figure out and expose it to the audience. Okay, how do you deal with pain? How do you deal with challenges in this life? This is what I went through, and I want to show you how to do it in a compassionate way. The high road of cancer is the compassionate mother. It doesn't have to be a mother of your children. It's like it's this motherly energy.
Mhm.
When you talk, when you help people, you come to them with this unconditional love of a mother, right?
Wow, that's powerful considering. Oh, that's yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And when people tell you, you know, like you're too emotional, you know, like you when you have to say emotions is my gift. This is my gift. I came here to learn the emotional world. I came here to teach you how to deal with the emotional world. And then you see in the 10th house, this 10 slice of the cake,
Mhm.
you have Saturn. Saturn is it's the life lesson, it's our life lesson. But when Saturn rules the 10th house, it's the house of career. So people with Saturn in the 10th house have a good placement for your career, and it's in Leo. So you came here to shine. You came here to be center stage. You had to learn that. This was your lesson.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
why you're coming from from being, you know, doing accounting when you're backstage
Mhm.
to being a podcaster when you're center stage. I'm running the show. This is Leo. And your Mars is there. Your Mars is also in Leo in the 29th degree. This is a very high evolution. When you have something in the 29th degree, it means that you mastered it in previous lives. And you came here with this energy of, I'm here to say the truth. I'm here to through being center stage, through being a podcaster, through being going. I want to go to opera. Okay, this is the exactly, you know, the desire of someone who has a Leo in Mars in Leo. I want to be in, you know, like I want to be famous, and you're not shy to say that. But
Yeah.
I want to be famous in the name of my service. I
Mhm.
want to be in service for others. I want to help people. Your purpose in this life is to understand how to work with harsh emotions. This is the gift of Cancer, being connected with your heritage, with your original, with your family of origin, with your dad, letting him go, working through this pain. And now, how do I make it a gift? How do I make it my service? And this is beautiful. So don't ever, with people who are sensitive, are not well appreciated in this world because we are like sun worshippers, because we're still in a patriarchal society.
Mhm.
But the more we give power to the moon energy, and this is what I talk about in my book, you know, we need to balance sun energy and moon energy. Moon energy is a gift to have so much power. You are such an immense container for emotions, right? Am I
Mhm.
right?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Everything you said has been right on. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, when people tell you you're too emotional, no, you're not emotional enough. You know, you're detached. You're not connected. I'm here to connect you. You know, and we're not here like people think, you know, we came here to be happy, and we came here, and if you're not happy, and if you're not, life is not just that. Life is everything. And people who pretend to be happy all the time, they're detached.
Mm-hmm.
No one can be in joy all the time. We have the human experience hurts.
Yes, it does. It does.
So the people who know, like, the more you're able and willing to connect with your emotional world and be honest with it, the more joy you can experience as well.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. It's a good thing we're recording all this so I can go back and listen to all that. Because I just like, I'm in awe, shock and awe, because I mean, we've shared a little bit about each other, but not to the degree that you've just said. So that's wow.
Yeah, and this is what so our chart is an imprint. We came here with this, you came here with this purpose. It's written, you came here to do this podcast.
Wow. Well, thank you for the confirmation, Yael.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm in shock and awe. And now that we have that, now's the time that we have our amazing Kimberly Genovese up here to do the last half of the show. So welcome, ladies. You're on mute, my dear.
We're being responsible. Yes, I am back in Tampa with our amazing heroes, badges, and warriors, and our military operations that Dorothy and I have been giving our blood, sweat, tears, and emotions to for the last year. With great privilege and honor. And the amazing Molly, who is the executive director of Heroes, Badges, and Warriors. And what would you like to share tonight, Molly? It's around Heroes, Badges, and Warriors.
So with Heroes, Badges, and Warriors, we are at the cusp of just launching into greatness. We
awesome.
are, yeah. We have some amazing goals in mind, and we won't stop until they're achieved. With our main goal being reducing and eliminating suicide amongst our veterans, our first responders like police, EMTs, and firefighters. Too many of us, having been prior service, knowing people who have struggled with their mental health. And of course, one of our other HBW staff members who has lost 2 of his colleagues to suicide very recently. And so the issue is there. We are here to provide a solution. And we're gonna be doing something community related this Thursday. We have our very first monthly cigar event at the #1 rated cigar lounge in the United States. It's Grand Cathedral Cigar Lounge. And we are very, very excited because they have been willing to partner with us to allow us that space to bring in just people from the community who, either were previous or, family, friends of, et cetera, or just those who, support our service members, meaning, EMTs, fire, and veterans, et cetera. So we're going to be doing that this Thursday. And
where can they find us?
You can find us online at our HBW Life.
Beautiful. And details for the event will be on that website?
They will be.
Are they now?
Nope.
Okay. So give them to Dorothy so she can put them.
Yeah, the details are, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, we would invite you to come spend whatever time you have available. 6 o'clock is when it starts. There is parking at the cathedral. There's also additional parking 1 block north on Florida and Amelia. So please come join us, meet some amazing heroes in your local area. And if you are a former or a current EMT, firefighter, police officer, or service member, we invite you to come, so that way we can rally with you and be able to provide you with resources that can help not only your mental health, but also with just having that community around you of like-minded individuals.
Beautiful. From what time to what time?
It's from 6 o'clock until we decide we want to leave.
The last person leaves?
Yes.
Awesome.
And sorry, guys, what day was that?
It's on Thursday, the 25th of May, and it starts at 6 o'clock.
Great way to start the holiday weekend here in America for those that are here in Tampa.
And it's at the cathedral.
Yeah, it's at Grand Cathedral Cigar Lounge.
All right, beautiful. Anything else you want to say?
Just thanks for the opportunity to, come on and share a little bit about what we're trying to accomplish and get the word out that mental health is very, very serious. And we want to be able to approach it in a way where individuals aren't ashamed to talk about it, that they would be willing to, partner with their brothers and sisters in arms and, EMT, any type of service they provide, that, we can be together, we can support one another, and together we grow stronger and a lot more effective.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. And with that now, who would like to share their fundamentals first? You.
Oh, that means not me, but I will go. I will go.
I thought that meant me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That means
You
not
got to
me.
learn your language.
So I would say my 3 fundamentals, the things that impact me and make my life, what I want it to be, is surrounding myself with friends and family that, I know have my back, that support me, that know my history, and still willing to love me. I think the second thing would be, striving every single day to work towards your passion. Yeah, you might have to start in a career that is not your passion, to make ends meet, or to position yourself to be able to support what it is that you want to do, that makes you unique here on this earth. And so that would be my second. And I think my third is just be playful, have fun. Life is way too short. And so if you can, dance around. We were dancing around the kitchen 5 minutes ago. So just have fun, be playful.
Beautiful.
I love it.
Right, she tied right in with your whole show tonight. You can tell she was listening. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, beautiful. Your turn.
Is it my turn?
Yep.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, cool. So, so in different spirit and fun, even though I'm totally into fun, but it goes into one of the other things. So first of all, the human experience is complex. Many people think that, I can get out of the pain and the suffering and just have fun, but that's not how it works. So we can only make our life worthwhile. We cannot escape the suffering and pain in life, but we can make it worthwhile if we have a good reason to get up in the morning and know that, we're doing something meaningful. It can be just, mothering a child, or, or being a partner to our spouse. It doesn't have to be big grand thing. But it's just the feeling that I'm in the right place. I'm doing what I came here to do. I have a meaning. That's very powerful. And then, that happiness is not a situation of constant bliss. Okay, being happy, people really mistake it. It's a little bit of the same thing. We think I should be joyful all the time, but it doesn't work. And then when they're not, they feel like something is wrong. I'm fucked up, and we all are fucked up. But the thing is that, happiness is really accepting life, accepting who we are, accepting situations. This is happiness, and being grateful for it all, and also being pissed off at everything that we're not happy with and trying to improve it.
Yeah.
And then the thing that
I love her.
but being authentic, being real
Yes.
about what
Yeah.
you really feel. Like, I don't want people to like, oh, I'm so grateful, and inside of them they're like, I'm really not.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
and the last thing is what I'm writing my book about, and it's that each one of the planets, astrology is all about these 10 planets, and one of them is about fun, by the way. Jupiter is all about fun. So, but it's a balance. So every planet comes to teach us something. Every planet has a lesson for us, and sometimes the lesson is have sex, sometimes the lesson is have fun, sometimes the lesson is connect with your pain. But so being a round personality, living a wholesome life is what I call it, is to really address the lessons of each one of these planets. And these planets are here to bring us to ourselves. Like I told Dorothy, at the end of the day, our purpose, our highest purpose, is to be who we are, who we truly are.
Yeah.
I love all that. And I'm only laughing because that was my lesson all freaking day today. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I heard all day long. And then Yael comes on, and here we are again.
Dorothy, have you noticed that the Course of Miracles now, it's like you can pretty much tell how your day's going to go by what the day's lesson is.
The lesson I say in the morning is the lesson that I've been learning all day.
It opens up all day long. Well, as always, our fundamentals are so complementary to each other. And we thank you both for, taking the time to create them and share them. More importantly, they're stunning. And I know the audience will receive them with great, great honor. And I'm standing that they're going to apply them. So thank you. Thank you. Dorothy, back to you.
Wow. This has been an amazing, incredible show. And I mean, I say that every time, but this is just like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm in, like, I don't know. Okay, so you know that thing that you've seen the commercial for that. You hit the one ball and it goes bouncing back and forth, and it's supposed to make I don't know what it's supposed to do for you. But anyways, I feel like that has been my day. Like, one ball has bounced and it's like continuous, and it's the same thread throughout the day. So thank you. This has been so enlightening, and so like, okay, this was the sign and the message for today. I got that loud and clear, God. Thank you. Anyways, I want to thank our guests for that have joined us tonight in the comments, and definitely those of you on the replay. And don't forget about our Roku channel. Go check us out over there on Unstoppable Overcomers. And if you just like to listen and you don't give a crap about actually seeing how absolutely gorgeous these women are, then go to our podcast, which is on Spotify or an iHeartRadio, because we can just hook you up with audio there too. So we appreciate you no matter where you're listening in from. Subscribe to our channels, guys. Leave us a review if you possibly can. We would greatly appreciate it. The more reviews we get, the more people are happy, right? And then they'll see us. That's the whole point of doing this, so people can know they're not alone in their circumstances, and they hear what we're saying, and this could potentially help somebody out there. So share with your network, because sharing is caring. Yes, I did say that. I know that's like I know that is like a 5-year-old thing, but that has been my mantra the last 2 weeks. Share.
Now, so Dee, something came up, which
Of course
how
it
the
did.
Holy Spirit likes to use us, and we're grateful for it. Is really, especially today, in light of everything today, is to let people know one of the fundamentals of this show is that we're a stand, not just me and Dee, the Holy Spirit, and anyone and everyone that's in the tractor beam that is the Unstoppable Overcomers family. None of us wants anyone to ever be alone.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're hearing our voices now, know that the 4 of us are standing boldly for you. If you reach out to Dorothy, reach out to our show, reach out, follow us and tell us that you need something, right? But reach out to someone. Because if you're hearing our show now and you're hearing our voices now, that means you matter and you're not alone. You're actually not alone. Okay. And we love you.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
And thank you so much, Yael, for joining us tonight. This has been absolutely amazing. Like I said, first astrologer on the show, and we have never had a show quite like this. So, and I know that I have some amazing people that couldn't join us tonight that are dying to hear the replay. So, yeah. So thank you so much. We appreciate you.
So much for having me. It was so much fun, and I really support what you do, Dorothy. It's really beautiful and amazing. And I really wish you should be in opera. I really hope that you get there.
From your lips to God's ears, it's going to happen. And hey, I busted through more shit than possible today. Like I didn't yeah, I've been working through the crap for everybody here, so that we can make this show bigger, better, and better than ever before. And thank you so much, Molly, for joining us, my other partner in crime. Because I am
Four horsewomen.
The four horsewomen.
Three
That's
of the
right.
four.
Three of
Yes.
the four.
3 of the 4 are here. We'll ride off
Shout out
to
to
the
Dr.
sunset.
J.
Dr. J.
Shout out to Dr. J if she's watching.
That's
We
right.
love you.
We love you. And with that, I just want to say one last thank you to our last sponsor of the Tonight Show. Since this is Mental Health Awareness Month, definitely the best book you could read this month is Created No Way Out by Jen Zahari. It is an amazing story about a woman who's on the verge of ending her life following decades of feeling unseen and unheard and suffering from anxiety. But there is an ending that you don't want to miss. So go get your copy today at Amazon or www.jenzahari.com and get your copy today. With that, ladies, it's been a pleasure. And don't forget, guys, be unstoppable in all that you do. And same time, same channel next week. Bye for now.